The NDC, is threatening to sue the EC over limited voter registration. Right, we have a story here on citinewsroom.com. The Director of Legal Affairs for the National Democratic Congress, Godwin Eduji Tamaklo, says the party's legal directorate will consider exploring legal means to challenge the legality of the Electoral Commission's decision to hold the upcoming limited voter registration at its district offices. The Commission last week announced the commencement of a limited voter registration for eligible Ghanaians who turned 18 after the 2020 registration exercise, and other eligible voters from September 12, 2023 through till October 2nd, 2023. The NDC argues that if the EC is allowed to go by its plans, most of the new voters will be disenfranchised. Mr. Tamaklo says his team will challenge the legality of the exercise. And yes, so that's the story that we have here. Now, let me start with you, Victor. Why is this a problem? The limited voter registration exercise as the EC is proposing. Why is it a problem for
you? You see, like the Director of the Legal Affairs have said, I think that it is for good reasons that he said that. If you look at the EC, what has always been the limited voter registration? What has been the precedent? It is always open up for people to register at their centers. Right?
Okay. Yes.
It is. Now, why is it that you are limiting it to only the district offices? And the distance, you know, sometimes go to Afram Plains and the islands, people will have to take the boat 8 hours, come and drive about 3 hours before they get to the John Cook room, the district capital. Why would somebody have to go through all those just because he has to register? And for what benefit? Because he has to vote. He would choose not to. Now, if you look at all this limited registration, the law is guided by law. What is the EC trying to do? Is that we used to have before every elections, we always have a constitutional instrument, right? And the constitutional instrument will guide you as to what has to be done. So that was where they were trying to lay the new constitutional instruments for the elections that will come in 2024. But because Parliament has said that no, you cannot use only the Ghana card as this, and they have made proposals. I think that it was bipartisan that has agreed. Now, EC wants to circumvent that without even going to lay the CI and rely on the CI 126 that was used, because the 126 only repealed part of the old one.
Okay.
That was the 96.
Okay.
So that whilst they are doing this, you want to circumvent it. And the precedent has always been there. What are the reasons why you think that it can only be the district centers? And we are saying that, look, if it is only the district centers, there are places that are very far. How do people who turn 18 years get to those district centers? These are the issues that I think that we want to reason with the EC. Sometimes I just get a little bit sad because IPAC was something, a mechanism that was used to iron out issues of this nature. And they judge. But we have seen the deterioration of IPAC. Now it's even non-existent. IPAC, it only exists in name.
Yeah, but it's you politicians, it's your fault, isn't it?
No, you see, it is when you take a strange position. When you are a leader you are a servant of the people. It is not always because you are a leader, you think that you have the monopoly of knowledge or wisdom. Everybody who comes, that's why our elders say 2 heads are better than 1. So when people come and they're in the position of leadership and responsibility has been entrusted in their hands, don't ever think that what I want to do, I'll have my way. And when people start to resist that we will not have your way, yes, we recognize you are the leader, but you cannot have your way. This is what has brought the problem. And these are issues that, like I said, we have institutions, the Peace Council, all those ones. Yes, I believe in legality. I'm a lawyer, right? But I always say, you may have a beautiful judgment, but judgment may not bring reconciliation. It will not bring reconciliation. When the parties are bitter, they go, one party will have a judgment.
Yeah.
But will there be reconciliation? Are we going to have that social cohesion? We may not have that. So I think that whilst EC sometimes takes issues, they are doing things, and they think that they have justification to it, they should think about the larger population. They should think about Ghana. Because for me, that is what I always look at. And if we say we are challenging this in court, what does it come with? Demonstrations, protests, I won't understand. Why do we go for all this needless? When we have institutions that have to speak.
Yeah.
Institutions.
Fair enough.
You know, eminent citizens. People should go into it. What is the merit? Are the demerits? Why do you want to do this? Give us the justification.
Okay.
Let's listen. I think for me, as a lawyer, one of the things I always believe is to make peace. It is the first thing for you. It is when reason doesn't prevail. That is when you want to slag it out. So I think that, yes, we threaten, the director has said that, and I'm sure that the director will put this more before the legal committee and the others. We will look at it. And once we look at it, we will know the benefit. And I think that the posture by which the chairperson or EC wants to say, I'm a strong person, strong institution, does not help all of us. You don't win always. You do not win always. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. Let's look at this nation. And already, what we are seeing, the signals for the 2024, you know, it's not too good. And I think that it is time that we all reflect. And
I think a lot of people were worried about even the 2020 elections, you know, and worried about whether the EC was capable of handling things. But it turned out fine.
No, it is because, you see, I always say that the 2020, it turned, yes, the election, but the aftermath, the agitation and the rest. Look, the backroom sins, what were done by some people. And that's why I always, when my colleagues and my friends in the NPP, they say, oh, we won, and they're insulting Mahama. I always say, if you know what had happened, you always go and thank Mahama. Because all that people were waiting for was for him as a leader to speak.
To say he won't accept.
To say...
when he has no basis to say that.
Wait. You see, it is not that you have basis or you do not have basis. When he speaks and says, go on the street, what will have portend? What will have happened? Because people were agitated.
Yeah,
people were ready.
That's for that one.
And they wanted. And he said, I'm a leader.
By your party.
Are you getting it? So sometimes I always say, look, people should always, when you are saying, you don't know what happens. And I always see him as a gentleman, a man who has the heart that to contain in this nation at his heart. You see, so I always say that, look, the election, easy. You know, we would always extend an olive branch to the EC. We are ready. Let's dialogue. EC, this is what we have to do. But if you want to show I'm a strong institution, I'm a strong person, at the end of the day, when you go to sit down, you will not be there forever. You go to sit down. Your tenure, what you have done, how you have left this nation, will that posterity, will it judge you?
All right. Okay. Yes, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Kweku, so I was happy you pointed to Kojoga on the happenings of 2020. My issues are that, you know, when you have negotiation with a party and you make yourself an extremist, that you are not ready to go in for the win-win situation, just as we all expect in such transactions with such an institution. This is exactly what happened. So from the time that the woman was appointed, let's consider the relationship of the NDC or the attitude of the NDC towards the woman as a commissioner and even towards the present or the current commissioners of the Electoral Commission. Secondly, you know, what has been their involvement with the IPAC as an alternative process to the laws that mandate the EC to carry out their duty. The Constitution actually says or guarantees the independence of the Electoral Commission. Then we have IPAC as an arrangement by the parties to prefer alternative solutions or ideas to that of the mandated solutions that the EC brings out. Now, the NDC gradually is constituting itself into a limitation on the functions of the EC. In 2020, when we were about to carry out, or when the EC was about to carry out the registration process, the NDC quickly went to court on an issue that even without you being a lawyer or without you being a judge, you could actually tell that these guys are fighting a losing battle. And they lost convincingly. My advice is that when they go on the time, when you read Eduji's message, I was thinking that he was going to point out to what law that the EC is violating and based on which grounds that he wants to go to court on. Because anytime they are quick to say, we'll go to court. No. Exactly what he's put forward there.
Going to court is
their right.
Yes.
Exactly.
And for me, it's more.
But when it becomes one too many.
No, but what is one too many? When you are aggrieved to go to court.
Yeah, it's your right. Nobody's going to take that away from you. But my point is that you have to look at the legitimacy of your claim. You don't just get up and say, even when my rights has not been violated, because you personally don't like somebody or you don't get along with a person, you just intend to go to court. That's why I was expecting that he put out the grounds. But he just put out the story without even stating the grounds on which he thinks that the EC is violating or misconducting itself.
But that's what Victor has been trying to elucidate here, to say that these and these are the reasons why they are going.
First of all, their argument is about the fact that if we carry out the registration exercise within the district centers, others will be disenfranchised. That is their concern. I agree to it that we have to expand the process. We have to make it elaborate enough to cover everybody. But the question you ask yourself is that there's going to be an issue of want of evidence. Because the fact is that in 2020, do you have an evidence of any single person being disenfranchised as a result of the registration exercise? The answer is no. The other question we must ask ourselves is, how do we carry out businesses with the other state agencies within the various district centers? We have the fire service people at the district office. We have the NHIS people at the district office. We have the national registration exercise ongoing at the district office. How do we that come from the villages make it to the center to register? So yeah, you have a moral concern. You have an issue that you are raising, which I largely agree with you that yes, we have to make the process elaborate enough to capture a lot of people so that we don't disenfranchise any person. But that is not to say that you have to go in this kind of Takashi form, where you have to be very aggressive in your pursuit towards the EC. That is why I started by discussing the independence of the Electoral Commission, the role of the IPAC.
What would have been the alternative approach? My
alternative approach is that as currently as we speak, the EC is trying to make the process, is trying to improve on the process and make it as continuous as possible. And for me, it is the best alternative approach. Previously, we used to...
but instead of going to court, in this case, what should the NDC be doing with the EC? Should they call for a meeting, for a discussion? I don't understand. I want to know.
They should keep...
They feel as if the EC is ignoring them. And so maybe the only recourse is to go to court.
Kweku, that is why I started by discussing their own attitude towards the present Electoral Commission. You understand? And I also spoke about the independence of the Electoral Commission. So when you are dealing with such an institution, it's about engagement. you have to engage the EC, you have to engage other stakeholders. Even sometimes before you enter into the meeting, you should be adding them with other party members that will be coming for such meetings to agree. I am sitting here agreeing with Kojoga that the process must be elaborate enough to capture everybody within that system. Okay. Now, what makes you think that our party leadership is not amenable to this discussion if the NDC is supposed to engage NPP, engage other parties as well before even the what do you call it, the day for IPAC meetings? But this kind of extremist mentality where you have this kind of sense of entitlement.
Why do you think it's extremist mentality? I'm struggling to understand why you think it's extremist mentality, because I choose
because in previous no, the court going to court. Nobody cares about the court. That's why I've given you the scenario that previously they've gone to court almost on other scenarios and they've lost. It's not as if they won a single. All the cases that NDC has gone to court against the EC, they've lost against this present EC.
And so they should stop going to court?
They can go. That's why if it is about court, then they should go. But I'm saying that you ask me what is the alternative, and I'm telling you that in a scenario where you are engaging with a state institution whose independence is guaranteed by the constitution, the only choice that you have is engagement. But if you beyond the engagement, your right is to go to court. But if you are going to court on a right, which you yourself you know that you are going to lose, why do you go to court? That is like you fancy going to court. And I don't think the NDC just fancy going. No, please, let me. I kept quiet and I listened to you. In 2020, when they were going to court on one of their issues, I was on live TV like this. I predicted. I didn't want to prejudice the case, but I said that, look, this case that the NDC is going, looking at the substance of the issue, looking at the grounds on which they are going to court, I'll be seriously surprised if they should even win any of those reliefs. And it is there for all of us to see. So my point is that you can go to court, it is your right. But if you want to discuss the issues as possible, now, what is the intent of the EC? The intent of the EC is not to disenfranchise anybody, but is to make sure that they improve on the process and make it as continuous as possible. Me, if I were to be in the shoes of the leadership of the NDC, what I would do is that I will engage the EC and say, okay, since this is the first time, or since the first time you are starting this continuous registration process, can we look at opening up other centers? Because for me, the EC has demonstrated over the period that they are amenable to such improvements. During the 2020, there were other places that they opened up when they realized that the period was getting close. They have also extended even registration periods just to make sure that we don't disenfranchise people. Then again, I ask, what is the evidence that somebody will be disenfranchised out of this process?
I think that we are jumping again. Now, the director of legal, my colleague Eduji, has said that we may go to court. And I said over here that as a legal committee, we have not discussed that. I don't know what he has, the information that he has, that maybe he has discussed it with the top echelon of the party.
If he's not putting forward, we are not soliciting that from him. Are we to
right?
do that?
We want to move on.
Once he says we have threatened, that's not mean that we've gone. And I've told you that there are avenues that we can be done. It is not a threat. He's saying that if we look at it, that's why I'm saying that if you look at the reasons, the points, and I said there have been precedent. Now things are being changed. So that is what he's saying. So we, as we speak, we are saying that, look, the EC should look at its position. We also look at our position, and we dialogue.
Okay.